Hello, everyone,
Hey.
and we are here to talk about Wonder Woman. Oh my God, you guys, it's so good! It's so good! It's so good!
It's so good, you guys. Yeah.
All right, so Wonder Woman, the movie. There is a Wonder Woman movie now, and it is excellent.
Out of the DCEU movies that started with Man of Steel, yes, this is the best one, but that's like not even fair. That's not even fair anymore. We have to go up against like all the other superhero movies out there, particularly the MCU, which I haven't like ranked them for myself. You know, a lot of people. There's some that usually rank higher or lower, but everybody kind of does it differently. And I haven't gotten my version of that yet because I don't know. I just feel like my opinion is too biased to really do it. Like I like a lot of stuff in Thor: The Dark World. A lot of people don't like that one, and I really don't like Iron Man 2. But anyway, obviously this movie is way better than either of those. Yeah. It's probably up there with like either of the Captain American movies,
right?
Or actually any of the Captain American movies, which I really like all of those.
Yeah. So you mentioned before Wonder Woman. This movie she borrows elements from both Captain America and from Thor, with the wartime setting, with the fish out of water and the magic and gods and stuff. But I honestly think it's better than both the first Captain America and the first Thor.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's close. It's definitely better than Thor.
I think Captain America is my favorite of the four like Phase 1 origin movies, definitely. Right. I think it's probably better than those, but yeah, it's like for Phase 1, which is fairly easy to rank. It's for me, it's Avengers and then Captain America below that, and Wonder Woman probably ranks just right around there, I think. A couple years ago, like as the hype for this movie was heating up and they're announcing it, I'm like, you know what? A lot of like people who are in charge of making merchandise and stuff think that male comic book readers like us aren't interested in buying merchandise with a female protagonist, and I'm like, well, I know that's not true because growing up I never had a problem with it, so I'm gonna start laser focusing my purchases and get more Wonder Woman stuff. Now, there's other stuff. There's other characters too, obviously, but I decided to laser focus on that. So we got this. A lot of this comes from comic conventions. We got this Travel Coffee mug, which is very faded. It started out as mostly red, but the condensations. Yeah. This Wonder Woman bank. And by the way, there's not very many female characters of these. Just so you know, the only one I almost got was Harley Quinn, and then I don't know. There's a few around, but not very many. This action figure, which is one of the only superhero action figures we've gotten in a while, and this coffee mug, which we got the other day at Wonder Woman Day at a comic store.
Yep.
Along with we got a couple from Free Comic Book Day, a couple trades, of course, and the 2009 is it?
Yep.
Wonder Woman DTV,
which I made a trailer for.
Yeah.
A while back, fan trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just think a lot of the trailers for the DTVs are not quite the quality of the big screen releases, so I wanted to get something more on that level.
Yeah. Also this.
Yeah. A few years ago, just after Man of Steel came out, and they were talking about Batman vs Superman and everything. Yeah. I did a series of videos called Path to Justice League, where I sort of laid out
you had things to say,
what I wanted to see them do with the cinematic universe, and how I wanted to see them approach Wonder Woman and do Batman Superman team up, and even do a Green Lantern Flash team up movie. But I did 2 parts talking about just Wonder Woman, and just I'm pointing out here's why they have to do it. Here's why they're fooling themselves if they don't. And then here's who I want to see involved. And in particular, when I picked in my list of 5 directors, Patty Jenkins was on there. I've been rooting for her ever since Thor 2.
Yeah, me too.
But she was the only woman. And I'm kind of ashamed of that, to be honest. So I was like, yeah, a man could probably direct Wonder Woman. But watching this, I don't think a man could have made it quite like this.
Yeah.
This definitely needed a female perspective.
Needed that little touch.
Yeah.
Possibly. Now, remember, she was actually the replacement. Who was going to direct the movie the first time? And then
Michelle MacLaren.
Michelle MacLaren.
She had directed episodes of Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. She's also executive producer on Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
She's a big-time heavy hitter. But it happened so quickly that when she dropped out and Patty Jenkins dropped in, that it really seemed like she was the backup choice all along.
Somewhere in there, this is the Wonder Woman movie. If we hire a female director and then fire her and replace her with a guy, that's going to look very bad. There may be a day sometime in the progressive future where that isn't an issue anymore, but it's an issue now. So
it's an issue
they were the backup choice, which was Patty Jenkins, who again I too was rooting for to get the job in the first place. So that wasn't really a problem.
Yeah, I'd wanted to do a list of here's all the female directors I'd like to see. and give it a shot. But like the news was moving so fast, I didn't have time to put the video together. There have been a lot of versions of Wonder Woman's origin over the years. There have been some changes here and there. So
we got a couple
it's great
of them
to
right
see,
here,
especially since Batman and Superman both have multiple depictions.
Yeah.
Now Wonder Woman has her own origin movie, and it's great.
Yeah,
So
it's great, and also
hers gets to stand alongside
they kept
theirs.
it simple. Yeah, they kept it simple. Now, for one thing, because they haven't had to reinterpret her origin again and again on film like some other characters, they could just stick to Plan A. They make a few tweaks at the familiar formula, but they mostly stick to it. Now, of course, I don't want to short shrift the movie because not having had a movie made before didn't save Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And by the way, and Green Lantern was an attempt a little earlier to try to start their own cinematic universe to compete with Marvel, while Marvel was still in phase 1.
Yeah.
And that just didn't work out because it was like total rush job, and there were all kinds of things that went wrong.
Yeah. We wondered what if they had started their cinematic universe with this movie, but that would have meant opening it in 2011 against Captain America and Thor, which we just mentioned already has some similarities to it. So
if they did it instead of Green Lantern.
If they did it then, they wouldn't have made this movie.
Yeah, probably not. Wonder Woman, along with Captain America, started in World War II. Now, you can't transpose Cap out of World War II. That's kind of important to him. But somebody had the idea of, let's put the movie in World War I instead. Can that work? So I guess they tried, I think this can work because there's not nearly as many stories and movies about that period. Yeah. And it's a very different kind of conflict because, you watch the great stuff, you watch All Quiet on the Western Front, you watch Paths of Glory, you watch, Gallipoli, and there was all a very similar kind of grimness of, a lot of soldiers who are just caught in a meat grinder and, superior officers who have no idea what they're doing. Yeah. So it's good that if we're going to, not repeat our competition, that was a pretty good way to go about it in the end. And it really worked because, once they get into the second act, once they get out to the trenches, and Diana, who has, been sheltered on Themyscira her whole life, and has only heard stories about war, gets to see it up close, you really feel it with it. It's like, holy shit, we keep... And just going through
she
the
keeps wanting to save everybody.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Which is great.
And Steve has to tell her, we can't save everybody. And finally, she dons her tiara and heads out into the battlefield. Like, I'm going to save everybody.
Yeah. And that's one of the... that's another great feature of picking World War I as a period. Like, who wouldn't have want to have had a superhero who could just tear through no man's land and do, a year's worth of fighting and, 100,000 soldiers worth of fighting in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And just, get that done. And, that saves lives on, even in the enemy camp because they're not using up soldiers.
Yeah. When they first showed in the Comic-Con trailer, her climbing up the ladder and stepping into no man's land, I was hooked right then. And that is easily the best sequence in the movie for me. Yeah. It was just like, this is what you make a Wonder Woman movie for, so you can do a scene like this. Yeah.
As the movie's, I don't know, probably second big action set piece. Probably the main action set piece. First, her tearing through no man's land, deflecting bullets and mortars, and then going into town and just, hopping around and beating all the guys up there. Which is like vintage Wonder Woman action.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we get it.
I really admired that we follow Diana's point of view from the beginning.
Yeah.
Whereas, even in the animated movie, we kind of follow Diana, and then we follow Steve and kind of cut back and forth until they come together.
Yeah.
This one takes a different approach, whereas...
They could have done that here, They could have...
we're just on Themyscira. We don't know what time it is relative to everything else until Steve's plane crashes.
Yeah.
It was also a bold choice to have him followed by German forces if the Amazons then have to fight. That gets us right into the action and right into the story.
That's a new feature. Usually at that part of the movie, we get a tournament. On the island in this version, the Amazons conduct a tournament to see who's going to escort Steve back to the world of man.
Yeah.
And of course Diana wins, so she gets to the job. So I'm sure at some point in the as they were drafting the story, the tournament was probably in there because it's usually in there.
Yeah.
And then as they were developing, they were like, you know what? This is getting too long. We need to get them off the island quicker.
Yeah.
Can we lose the tournament?
We spent enough time on the island.
Yeah. Especially since they had moved. Steve Trevor's backstory, and maybe this is also to help shorten it up. They had moved all of Steve Trevor's scenes before the arriving at Themyscira into flashbacks.
Yeah.
When he's explaining, what his deal is under the power of the lasso of truth, which, is used very much the way it is here, which is good.
The tournament's one of those things where I'm like, if you can get it in there, then get it in there. If not, then don't worry about it. Just get to the story, get to the real action. Yeah. Kind of like The Invisible Plane, which also isn't in this movie in any way, shape, or form. And that's fine, because Wonder Woman is really what it's all about.
Maybe it'll be in Justice League.
Maybe, yeah.
By the way, of course they had the trailer for Justice League along with this movie. I wonder if it's plays with every screening of this movie. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't it? It's part of the same package.
Marvel movies always advertise the next movie in that cycle.
We watched Guardians of the Galaxy. They had the trailer for Thor Ragnarok. Pretty sure they all have that. Yeah.
So did Wonder Woman, actually. Back to the big battle on the beach with the German forces. That was a great not only a great instance of now clearly this is the biggest war ever, which is another great use of World War I.
Yeah. And now the war to end all wars, which is what they really called it.
Exactly. And now it's reached the shores of Themyscira, which is kind of like another sure sign that Ares must be involved somehow.
Yeah.
And I also really liked how they built up to the gods. This is quite different from the animated movie and also the George Perez run, where the gods really don't add that much to the story. Because every time they cut back to the gods in Gods and Mortals, it kind of grinds the story to a halt.
Yeah.
And also, it also gives us more time to get to know Diana herself and sort of, make her the focus of the story. In fact, the only intercutting they do with other characters is with Danny Houston as the German general and Dr. Poison. Yeah, that's it. It's them, or it's Diana and her sort of and whoever she's with.
Yeah, and we keep cutting to him because we think he's Ares, Diana thinks he's Ares, and they keep going over this enough times that we're like, okay, this is way too obvious. He's probably going to turn out to not be Ares.
Yeah. Also, it kind of frees Diana of the moral quandary of killing the wrong guy because he's clearly a bad dude.
Yeah.
He may be under Ares' influence and stuff. He's not a good guy. So even if she kills him and the war doesn't end, she's still rid the world of a villain.
Yeah,
so
man,
that's something.
I definitely got vibes of the Red Skull, obviously, from this guy, and they cast Danny Houston, who we see him and we're like, okay, that's a bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't play nothing but bad guys, but he's definitely one of your
definitely gets that vibe.
Yeah, they even give him the whatever it was, the mystic cocaine snuff thing. Which
they never quite explain what that is exactly.
We just kind of.
I think there might be a deleted scene there.
It's inferred over the course of the movie that this is something that Dr. Poison was inspired to come up with, and so it's a little super strength boost for him.
It makes it so that he can fight Wonder Woman,
and he can actually get a good fist fight out of this guy.
But other than that, it's still kind of ambiguous. There's probably a deleted scene in there.
They show all these scenes of him, just doing evil stuff, like when he's doing an inspection and he just shoots one of his own guys.
Yeah.
I can't even remember why he did that.
Yeah.
Other than he's evil. And then, later, him and the doctor set off a gas bomb at one of the labs or something. And he throws a gas mask in there and shuts the door. And
she's like, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but they don't know that. So they're going to be fighting over it and somebody's going to be like, the goggles, they do nothing. But yes, some of the best scenes are starting in the second act, as you do, when Diana and Steve arrive in London. And so we get the usual fish out of water antics, which I'm usually half and half on stories like this. So I really like how they handle it. Things don't get drawn out too much, and they managed to figure out some rules. Okay, there are some things that Dinah does understand. She reads, but she has some sense of decorum. And one of my favorite moments is as she's walking on the street, and she's not a stone cold warrior woman all the time. One of the defining characteristics of Diana is her compassion, and one of my favorite moments is when they're walking on the street and it's like, oh look, a baby!
Yeah.
Because of course she's never seen a baby before. For a while, the only baby on Themyscira was her.
Yeah.
It never even occurred to me, but that was a great little moment there.
There's the scene where she's on the boat with Steve, and we get a sense of okay, does she know about sex? This is going to come up sooner or later, but it's she's basically read all the books. Basically, they have all about the actual the function of procreation in one set of volumes, and then all the volumes about pleasure in another volume. So they kind of keep it two separate. But she knows how it works. It's just that it's more about trying to understand the social norms that Steve comes from.
Yeah.
Which was a very interesting way to play it.
There's a lot of scenes of that. There's a lot of scenes of them just kind of talking and, her trying to...
It was like she was a foreigner.
Yeah, exactly. She's a foreigner. She's not a space alien.
Yeah, exactly. There was this video talking about this trope called Born Sexy Yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Wonder Woman doesn't really fall into this anyway, but it talks about various female characters in movies like The Fifth Element or Tron Legacy or Splash. Not necessarily bad movies, but it's sort of this an uncomfortable number of occasions where the female lead in the film is this very naive, almost childlike,
fantasy creature.
Yeah, who acts as the love interest for the male hero who doesn't really have an arc except to teach this a naive being the ways of love or some shit. But I was kind of interested in see how Wonder Woman subverted at least some of those elements.
Yeah, which she did, yeah. That includes the best line of that was in all the trailers, and it's in the movie, same take and everything, where she meets Etta Candy.
Yeah.
And what does the secretary do? Like, I go where he tells me to go, and I do what he tells me to do.
Oh, where I'm from, that's called slavery.
That's his crime, but I gotta admit, the pay's much better.
We also talk about the cast, starting with Gal Gadot, who really was amazing.
Yeah.
Starring Batman vs Superman.
She saved that movie.
Yeah, totally.
At some point, I'm going to just rewatch all of her scenes from BVS again, having seen her, 3-act development and all the depths of her character in this movie, and see if it makes sense and how that puts a spin on this. And yes, as we said before, it would have been interesting if this movie had come out before the others. Wouldn't that be a hell of a way to kick off the cinematic universe, I
think I'm during the dress-up scene where, once she's found her outfit and then Steve decides to put the glasses on her because even with that, she's still, so astonishingly beautiful, she's still conspicuous.
Yeah. See, I would have hoped that as a spy they would have come up with more of a backstory for her, but I'll allow it, because it's... allows them to lean more into the fish out of water stuff. So you're a diplomat from Corsica and you studied a whole bunch of languages, hence the accent, etc., etc. But yeah, this is Gal's defining role now. She is Wonder Woman now.
Yes,
in the way Christopher Reeve was Superman back in the day.
Mm-hmm. I really liked how she responded to the scenes where Steve's got to go in and talk to the generals. And it's this weird kind of no women allowed policy.
And she's like, I don't care.
Yeah. And I'm kind of well, no wonder you got them stuck in this war because you won't allow women into your meetings. But also... was
that weirdly commenting on what it's like to work in Hollywood as a woman?
Yeah, maybe. But also, there's really how she was astonished at Steve for when he tells the generals that he's going to back off and then he's going to go on the mission anyway. She couldn't believe that she would just lie to their faces like that.
Yeah.
And then when she said, I don't know, you're not lying even now, he grabs the lasso, wraps it around his hand, and,
yeah, I'm going. It's very dangerous. We're all probably going to die. Shit.
Yeah. Have me true lies. Ask me something I'd lie about.
Are we going to die?
Yep. Of course, got them with Chris Pine as Steve Trevor.
And, it's Chris Pine. I mean...
Yeah. He plays it very much the way you'd expect, and he's certainly a good fit for the role.
Yeah, fortunately.
And he has good chemistry with everybody. I really liked how they chose to play him under the influence of the lasso of truth, where he looks like he's holding in a really heavy fart. He's trying not to spill his guts.
He's not just an airline pilot; he's a spy, and so spies have secrets. So how do you handle that when you're dealing with a device that makes you tell the truth?
In the original story, and also even in the animated movie, they had this thing where she's just sort of wearing the colors that he brought with him on his uniform. It doesn't really work here because he's wearing a German uniform.
Yeah.
He's a spy.
Yeah.
And so the outfit is just the outfit that they have to go out in. And also like the homage to the possible homage to the first Superman movie, where she fights the guys in the alley with Steve, and she's bouncing with bullets off of her bracelets.
They even when the gunman shows up at first, they even try to frame it the same way, with the revolver just entering frame from behind the alley, sticking right in their face, come here.
Yeah. I think it has a similar scene like that in the animated movie, but then it was just kind of everyday street officers. Here it's actual German operatives.
Yeah.
So it isn't just random happenstance; they're actually following him.
So there's that, and so there's that with the gun, and also that she, like Clark in that scene, is wearing her coat and her glasses. Was Clark wearing his hat in that scene?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. See. Yeah. There you go. Definitely an homage.
It's like there's the whole thing with her just carrying the sword and shield out in the open. Even then, I was like, don't you have a sheath for that?
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's supposed
Did that
to
not
kill.
come with a sheath? Yeah.
That thing's supposed to kill gods. At the very least, it should be a safety issue.
Right.
I did like the origin for the tiara, that it was one that Robin Wright was wearing when she got gunned down.
Antiope, yeah.
Antiope, yeah. Our friend Olivia was saying that I want to see an Antiope prequel film.
Yes.
We see that she's got some battle scars.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Those are on the big screen there.
How great is it to see Robin Wright in a superhero movie?
It's interesting that
was so cool.
It's interesting that not all of the Amazons are these young, beautiful supermodel women. Some of them are a little bit older. They got Hippolyta and also Antiope, who
they got some years on them. Yeah,
definitely.
We're reading about the behind the scenes. They got like real athletes to play the Amazons, which was cool. And in the fight on the beach with the Germans, you get to see a lot of really good forms. You use the I guess it's now a signature of the DCEU, Zack Snyder's speed up, slow down thing, which works really good to just kind of show off the technique, or just like leaping in the air and shooting 3 arrows at the same time.
It's interesting that the whole of the Zack Snyder style, even though he's not directing this thing, you can see how they wanted this on the whole DC films, and it actually works quite well here.
Yeah. When it's not, being overdone, which sometimes happens with his own movies. And we got to talk about their little kind of Howling Commandos, Easy Company group of guys. Yeah. It's a small group, but a nice little, add a bit of diversity to the cast. And we got some good actors. We got Saeed Tagmaoui, or however it's pronounced. I can never pronounce his name.
Ewan Bremner in there as their resident sniper, who's actually, turns out, not a very good sniper, but at least he can sing.
Yeah. Apparently, he's already shell-shocked, and they should probably just send him home. He can probably shoot just fine, he just can't do it anymore.
And we got Eugene Braverock as a Native American guy.
Yeah.
Who, he makes a great mention of. It's like, his people wiped out my people, and here I am. Diana doesn't really know how to take that.
That's the actress playing Dr. Poison, who is a villain from the comics, right? Somewhere?
I believe so.
Yeah. She's played by a Spanish actress, Elena Anaya.
Oh, yeah. She was also in The Skin I Live In,
which I didn't see.
With Antonio Banderas. Apparently that was Pedro Almodovar's Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
But she also had some kind of weird mask thing going on.
Yeah, weird mask and skin suit in that movie too. Good understated performance.
Yeah.
I want to highlight a young actress named, what is her name? Lily Aspel, who plays Diana when she's a little kid.
Yeah.
And she's only a few scenes, but she's really good. They get a really good, child actress for that role. Again, harkening back to Thor, reminded me of the scenes where they show him and Loki as a kid. Fortunately for Diana, Loki never had, like an evil sibling.
Yeah.
To worry about like Thor did. But they show them as kids, and they get, remember the kid's name who played young Thor?
Dakota Goyo. He was in
Dakota Goyo,
He was in Real Steel.
Real Steel, yeah.
And the classic origin is that her mom made her out of clay, and then the gods gave her life. That's how a lot of versions done it. That's how the animated film done it. That's how the George Perez reboot did it, and that's the original one.
Yeah.
And so the George Perez one is actually the best version of that, because it really goes in depth, and we really get to see all the gifts that the gods gave to her. And then there's the other version, which was, that's not what happened. It's actually this particular god is your father. Mm-hmm. And that's how the New 52 did it. That's how Earth 1 did it. The Justice League cartoon kind of hinted at it with Hades. Mm-hmm. But I say that the best version of that is this movie.
Yeah.
Which finds out that from Ares that it was really just Zeus who's her father.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people were worried about that they were going to go in that direction. But it isn't just that Zeus is her father, it's that the sword is not the god killer. She's the god killer.
Yeah.
But
she was made to kill Ares, apparently.
Yeah, but even she needs to learn to unlock that powers with the power of love.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind
I've never thought of that.
It's kind of very similar to in Guardians of the Galaxy, where with Peter trying to figure out how to unlock the celestial power to fight his dad, she's got to unlock her hidden powers to fight her brother.
Yeah.
By the way, Ares is also the son of Zeus, so yeah.
Yeah, so technically he's her brother.
Yeah.
Which is Never heard her say it that way before. That brings us to David Thewlis as Ares. I suspect that if we hadn't watched, or like at least if I hadn't watched a lot of the videos from like a Nerdist News, which were breaking down like every single promotional shot and TV spot and trailer, that I might not have known that he was playing Ares until the final reveal.
I had forgotten.
Yeah, especially since in the movie it's his character who's really pushing for the whole armistice.
Yeah, it's a fake guy.
Who would expect that guy to be the guy who's actually the god of war?
Even if you can figure out that Danny Houston as General What's-His-Name isn't Ares, you're not going to suspect that, the guy with the mustache of power is. I like that when we get to the final showdown, in the big finale of the movie where they engage in celestial combat, that we get Ares. Like, if we're going to have Ares in this movie, we get him in his full, spiked armored glory. We get a great shot where he kind of heats up his fingers and carves out the the slit in the front of his helmet.
Yeah. Once the fight really gets going, it's like, I don't know how she can beat him.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a magic spear like she did in BVS.
Yeah.
So no, it's the magic. She's the weapon. That's nice. Yeah. And I was very amazed when she tries to stab him and he just destroys the sword with his hand. It actually kind of reminded me of on Arrow when he tries to shoot Merlin.
Your favorite part.
He just catches the arrow.
Yeah.
So I said that was a street equivalent of your powers had no effect on me, and this is the sort of prime version of that. And I couldn't help noticing that she has a different sword in BVS than the one she uses here. So it's like
different shield too.
What happens to the sword?
Like about that point, and no complaints. This is what I want from my superhero movies. But at that point, any intrigue about her learning about the realities of war and or gender politics or fish out of war stuff kind of goes out the window, and it just becomes a superpowered slugfest.
Yeah,
as you'd expect. One of the things I really liked when I felt that the movie was really working was just there's a lot of scenes between Diana and Steve just talking, and as she's arriving on the front lines of real war for the first time and trying to understand it, just trying to understand the world, and he's just a regular dude. He's not an intellectual. He's not a scholar, but he's trying to explain it to her, and he's manages to not sound like an idiot. And we're starting to. I love those scenes. It really feels like we're getting into it and having and speaking intelligently about this stuff.
Yeah.
Without slowing down the movie too much. Or after she's killed Danny Houston, and she's like, but the war was supposed to stop. Why didn't it work? She's got to has this blue screen of death scene, and Steve's like, we gotta get to the mission. He's like, it didn't work. He's like, look, Dinah, you know how great it would be if I could tell you just kill that guy and the war ends? That would be awesome. But it's more complicated than that. That's the good stuff. That was really good screenwriting, and and really good just chemistry between the actors and everything.
Yeah.
Making it work, and that's where I felt that the movie really shined, and tried to tackle some serious stuff in the midst of all the action.
I really liked some of the bookend scenes where you see Diana in the present day, and it was nice kind of a wordless thing where we see, she has this office at the Louvre where she looks after all this, ancient stuff that she's collected.
Like that's her lair, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. And then had a nice touch of Bruce having mailed her he found the original print of the picture that he found in Luthor's files. What are rich friends for?
Yeah. There's something I like about the character Diana is I can watch a whole movie of her just not doing superhero stuff. Greg Rucka had a great run in the book where she publishes a book and she goes on a book tour.
Yeah.
And she's doing some superhero stuff in between. Yeah. But we get to see her as a public figure. I want to see more of that kind of thing with my superheroes. There'll always be time to fight supervillains and save folks, but I also want to see them using the superhero model to comment on being a celebrity, which is another thing that we can relate to in the real world. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. The Avengers movies get into that a little bit, but Diana is a very different type of character than a lot of those guys, even to Thor, who doesn't spend a lot of time on Earth anyway.
Yeah, and especially since she doesn't have a secret identity to worry about most of the time, except in this movie, obviously, when she's arriving in Man's World for the first time.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if she, at the end of the story, she went back home. Or if she stuck around.
It was just kind of a little open-ended there.
Yeah. It sounds like she stuck around, but I'm not sure how that plays into the the other movies that we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be interesting if in the sequel we're probably gonna do a present day story.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna go after Justice League.
Yeah.
But they might also flash back to some other adventures that she had in the last century. Because there's obviously a lot of time to work with, and she's an ageless beauty and everything.
Yeah. If Warner Bros. Doesn't give Patty Jenkins a tender offer to direct the sequel, they are out of their minds.
Yeah, I would love to see her.
She brought her
be
A
the
game.
first woman to direct like a big blockbuster trilogy. That would be awesome. Like she already broke some records with being like,
how
the
appropriate
highest
would that be
grossing
for
opening
this
for a female
character?
director, and to play that out across several films. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
So we're going to see this one again. I didn't see
Yeah.
Man of Steel or Suicide Squad or BVS in theaters a second time. I still haven't seen them a second time.
I saw Man of Steel a second time with Mom.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
didn't really want-
I think I sat through the bulk of it when it was on HBO one time.
Yeah. I didn't. We weren't really rushing out to see BVS or Suicide Squad a second time. Those are a lot of people were worried about Wonder Woman because those movies were kind of a mess in the editing room.
Yeah.
There's clearly some stuff that had been thrown out and swapped around and rewritten. This one, the final
Very
product
clean.
really seems much more smooth and clean and
Yeah.
well crafted.
I don't remember any scenes from the trailer that aren't in the movie. For
They gotta be in
example.
there, but
They usually are.
yeah.
But nothing really sticks out.
Yeah, seems like it's been an awfully long time since DC could have a movie that they could really be proud
I
of.
mean, last time they,
And,
it's been a while since the Nolan movies bowed out.
Yeah, but I'm so glad that Wonder Woman got to be that thing. So more women making blockbusters, please.
Yeah.
Like imagine if a woman had made Man of Steel. Who knows?
Who knows? Who
Maybe
knows?
things would have been a little less divisive. I don't know.
We'll see how it shakes out in Justice League, which, I don't know. Maybe it'll be better. It'll have Wonder Woman in it, which will make it at least 20% better just from virtue of that, if BVS is any indication. Yeah, so she gets a movie to herself, and of course it's awesome. So I'm definitely going to rush out to the theater in the next couple of days to see this movie again, and maybe again after that.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
We always saw the Marvel movies like multiple times in the theaters, so now we can finally do that with the DC movies.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, excellent. See it.
Yes.
I guess next one up is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, that's next month. They're getting a pretty good rhythm of releasing one big superhero movie every month.
Yeah. It was like when we can only get one of these every couple of years or so. And then we'll probably end up sucking
We are
anyway.
so spoiled now.
Yeah.
Oh.
And yet, Wonder Woman is great. So, yes. That's all we have to say about that. So we will see you next time.